Some breaking news now. The Department of Homeland Security firing 4 FEMA employees after it was revealed they authorized $59 million in payments for luxury hotels in New York City to house migrants. The firings include FEMA's chief financial officer, 2 program analysts, and a grant specialist. The payments reportedly violating President Trump's executive order prioritizing disaster relief funds for Americans. It also comes as President Trump calls for FEMA to be terminated. Let's go to Tom Dempsey in Washington with more on this. This just happening, these firings. What more can you share?
Hey, Marty. Yeah, just in the last hour, News Nation confirmed the Department of Homeland Security fired 4 employees, including the chief financial officer of FEMA for payments made to New York luxury hotels that housed migrants. We want to show you some of the statement that was obtained by News Nation. This is from the Department of Homeland Security, and it says in part, quote, effective immediately, FEMA is terminating the employment of 4 individuals for circumventing leadership to unilaterally make egregious payments for luxury New York City hotels for migrants, and adding, quote, DHS will not sit idly and allow deep state activists to undermine the will and safety of the American people.
Let's go! Trump, Elon Musk, and those doing fantastic job right now, eliminating waste and fraud and corruption from the government, including FEMA. Let's watch.
This comes as President Donald Trump has really been critical of FEMA, even calling out the agency and saying it should be terminated. In a post to Truth Social in just the last hour, in fact, the president wrote, quote, the Biden-run FEMA has been a disaster. FEMA should be terminated. It has been slow and totally ineffective. Individual states should handle storms as they come. Big savings, far more efficient. Aside from FEMA's chief financial officer, the DHS firings, though, include 2 program analysts as well as a grant specialist. So a little bit of a shakeup regarding all this, Marnie.
That's amazing. Honestly, they had no right to send money to hotel to house illegal immigrants after Trump's basically orders. Trump ordered that all my illegals should be deported, and they still send money for illegals to hotel. This is insanity.
Fox News Alert moments ago, we received this together. We received a statement from the DHS regarding the $59 million sent from FEMA to New York City migrants last week. Quote, 4 employees being fired today for circumventing leadership and unilaterally making the egregious payment for hotels for migrants in New York City. We have not announced it yet, so we have it first. There's going to be firings, the names are going to be out, and let's bring in New York Congressman Mike Lawler. Congressman, your thought about that move?
Well, it's long overdue, frankly. These funds have been misappropriated going back to the Biden administration, and New York City, a sanctuary city, has been wasting billions of dollars of taxpayer money, billions with a B, to provide free housing, clothing, food, education, and health care to illegal immigrants, including criminal aliens that are here illegally. And so, I applaud, frankly, DHS for taking action to stop these payments under President Trump's leadership, because we have incentivized cities like New York and states like New York, a sanctuary state, to allow this to continue, and it has to stop.
Honestly, they just effing around, and now they are just finding out. They just got what they deserve. They were disobeying a direct order from President Trump, and that's what they get for it.
Look, it cost New York, and it's a little selfish of us, billions of dollars because the water was wide open for 4 years. And the mayor that spoke up got exiled in the Democratic Party. Ironically, he's about to be, I guess, in a way, pardoned or protected by this president, who sees a lot of the targeting of Mayor Eric Adams as the same thing that happened to him.
No question. Eric Adams spoke out against what the Biden administration was doing. He said that the migrant crisis was, quote unquote, destroying New York City. Kathy Hochul authorized billions of dollars of state taxpayer money to pay for all these expenditures. Meanwhile, she's fleecing hardworking New Yorkers $2,500 just for the privilege of driving to work. It really just speaks volumes to how inept, incompetent, and corrupt New York has become under feckless leadership.
Right.
We have to stop this massive influx at the border, which is what President Trump is doing. But we have to stop incentivizing states and cities like New York by spending billions, and in this case from FEMA, $59 million to support their efforts to circumvent federal law. That's really what this boils down to. States like New York are circumventing federal law, allowing illegal immigrants to get benefits and access to taxpayer money.
I agree. He is 100% right about this. They are circumventing, disobeying a direct order from President Trump and the White House and Trump administration, and they should pay for it.
So let's talk about something else that's just bizarre that's happening in New York. New York's top court set to consider non-citizen voting in New York City elections today. Get this. Non-citizens, you don't belong here, you're not registered, blowing off court appearance, doesn't matter. That would add 800,000 non-citizen voters. Why is this even a discussion?
It shouldn't be. New York Republicans fought back against this effort several years ago. We were victorious in the lower court and the appellate division, and now it goes to the Court of Appeals. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit concerned because the New York Court of Appeals has been corrupted by Kathy Hochul and New York Democrats. This is why they tried to gerrymander our maps again last year. They added people who are way too progressive for the court to try and move the court in a different direction. I am concerned, certainly, that the Court of Appeals will make a political decision and not follow the Constitution. It is very clear. Non-citizens do not have the right to vote in our elections, period.
Yeah, this is completely ridiculous that people are contemplating the idea that have non-citizen, basically illegal voting on the government of the country that they are in. This is insanity. No country on earth
the
does
Federal
this.
Emergency Management Agency, which is supposed to help people in emergency situations like floods and hurricanes, is really being shown to be a really dysfunctional organization. And I spoke to Congressman Garrett Graves, who's a former congressman from Louisiana, who called it just a dysfunctional organization that doesn't work. And one of the things he was pointing to were two audits that were recently done about the organization by its own umbrella organization. So FEMA is under the auspices of the Department of Homeland Security. And the two audits found billions of dollars that is unused. This is controversial because during Hurricane Helene last year in Florida and some of the southeastern states, Alejandro Mayorkas made the point, who was the head of DHS at the time, made the point that FEMA had no more money. And that was really a lie because FEMA was sitting on maybe $8 billion of the unused funds. But the most recent audit that was done, and that was done January 30th, 2025, so just last month, showed that the agency had really mismanaged a lot of its funds during the COVID-19 pandemic. And one of the examples that they talked about was the organization agreeing to give $1.1 billion to a particular state. It did not list the state that it was talking about. So FEMA gave out $1.1 billion with a B to a state without getting the proper vetting. It gave the money based on a sheet of paper with no itemized needs or
$1 billion of taxpayers' money wasted by FEMA. This is complete misspending. This is complete waste and abuse. This is a FEMA's sickening history of misspending taxpayers' dollars, and it has to stop now.
Or any kind of report by an engineer or an emergency task force about what the money would be spent on. So this is FEMA's own sort of audit showing that there are some very, things that are very wrong with it. In that same audit, which was how it had used its COVID-19 funds, it talked about mismanaging, again, to the same state, the state we don't know. It talked about mismanaging like $8 billion in funds. So like Graves said, it's incredibly dysfunctional. So we've just had in the last couple of days Elon Musk finding that the organization gave out $59 million to New York City for migrants, to house migrants in luxury hotels. And this was done after the Trump administration had said, halt all funding. We're going to be taking a very serious look at the organization. And 4 FEMA individuals who were involved in giving out that money were essentially fired. So there's a lot of rethinking that needs to be done about this very, very important organization.
I agree. There should be some rethinking right there. Honestly, I believe that FEMA is completely doomed. Donald Trump, I believe, is calling for FEMA to be dismantled after this statement. I think Donald Trump will do the right thing together with Elon Musk and Doge. He will probably shut down FEMA as a whole after FEMA just has been misusing billions and billions of taxpayers' money over the years. That totally makes sense to me. This is just the beginning. Musk and Doge and Elon and Trump are just starting to find out all of the corruption that has been rampant in the US government and the government agencies, and they are gonna expose it all. And I'm here for it. I hope you are too. Let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching as always, and click right there to watch the next video. And I will see you there. Bye bye.